At A4:12 am local time, early morning settles over Crimea like a held breath. The air is cold, dense, unmoving. Radar arrays hum in low electronic whispers while the Black Sea reflects no light at all. Ukrainian long-range surveillance drones cross an invisible line, engines throttled low, profiles flattened against the Earth's curvature. No alarms sound. No missiles launch. Silence holds. Far inland, a missile convoy begins its scheduled movement. 12 transporter erector launchers carry long-range cruise missiles valued at nearly $600 million. Their route is fixed, calculated weeks earlier to avoid population centers and radar clutter. Doctrine dictates predictability equals safety. Above them, Ukrainian ISR platforms awaken. Thermal sensors bloom to life, painting hot engine blocks in amber and white. Data flows through hardened fiber links, compressed, filtered, prioritized. Every vehicle speed, every escort interval, every radar pulse is logged. The convoy is not guessed. It is measured. Seconds stretch. Operators breathe slowly. This phase is not about attack. It is about certainty. Wind speed. Radar rotation cycles. Missile reload timers. Everything must align. A command node far from the front receives confirmation. The convoy is real. The escort package is intact. Defensive systems are awake but unprovoked. This operation is not built on surprise alone. It is built on inevitability. Ukrainian planners already know where the convoy will be in 9 minutes. In 14. In 22. Assets reposition silently. Launch vectors adjust by degrees, not kilometers. When the first strike comes, it will not announce itself. It will simply arrive. And when it does, this operation changes everything. Deep beneath reinforced concrete, Russian air defense commanders watch their displays with practiced calm. The Crimean airspace grid glows steady and complete. S-400 batteries stand alert, their radars sweeping at disciplined intervals. HUNTS systems shadow the convoy, autocannons live, missiles armed. Nothing leaks through this net. Nothing ever does. The doctrine works because it always has. Long-range radar detects. Medium systems engage. Point defense cleans up what remains. Every layer overlaps the next. Every blind spot has a backup. The convoy commander checks timing. On schedule. Escorts maintain spacing at exactly 800 meters. Electronic warfare vehicles emit soft clouds of interference, masking signatures and confusing passive sensors. The road itself has been swept hours earlier for sabotage. A junior officer flags a momentary radar flicker. It resolves into background noise. Dismissed. The system is busy but stable. No spikes. No surge patterns. No threat indicators crossing alert thresholds. In the bunker, confidence hardens into routine. This movement has been rehearsed dozens of times. Satellite overpasses avoided. Flight corridors sanitized. Enemy strike aircraft remain grounded by distance alone. Missile crews sip coffee. Fingers rest near switches they do not expect to touch. Intercept inventories are full. Reload crews wait near sealed containers, confident they will never be opened tonight. From their perspective, the sky is controlled. Predictable. Owned. What they do not see is the math forming against them. They do not hear the low-frequency data bursts between Ukrainian nodes. They do not notice how small, cheap objects are already forcing radar refresh cycles just slightly faster than designed. The fortress stands strong. And that confidence is about to become a liability. The first wave does not carry explosives. It carries intent. Dozens of low-cost decoy drones rise from multiple vectors, each worth less than $20,000. They fly slow, low, and deliberately sloppy. Radar operators lock onto them instantly. Intercept solutions queue automatically. Missiles launch. Each interceptor costs over $3 million. Reload timers begin counting down. 90 seconds. 120. Crew hands move fast but physics moves slower. Missile canisters weigh hundreds of kilograms. Rails realign. Systems reset. The decoys keep coming. They are not meant to survive. They are meant to occupy. Every radar track consumes processing power. Every launch consumes time. Above this chaos, the real strike assets remain silent. They skim below radar curvature, using terrain and sea clutter. Their guidance updates arrive through burst transmissions too brief to jam. The math is brutal. A defender can only fire what it can reload. An attacker only needs one opening. As interceptors leave their rails, launch cells empty. Coverage thins by degrees, then sectors. Commanders see a familiar pattern and misread it. They believe this is harassment. Probing. They commit interceptors aggressively, trusting redundancy. But redundancy collapses under saturation. When reload cycles overlap, there is no reserve. When radar refresh rates exceed design limits, tracks smear together. Targets merge. Priorities blur. The system was built to stop a few expensive threats. It was never designed to stop many cheap ones. By the time the decoy wave thins, Ukrainian planners already know the exact second when a corridor opens. The trap is not hidden in stealth. It is hidden in arithmetic. At 4:29, the corridor opens. 3 strike drones rise from sea-skimming altitude to just 18 meters. Low enough to stay beneath radar lobes. High enough to acquire line of sight. Their engines scream briefly, then cut to glide. Impact follows seconds later. The first warhead punches into a mobile command relay vehicle trailing the convoy. The explosion is tight, directional. Antennas shear away. Screens go dark. Data links drop instantly. The second strike hits a power distribution truck feeding 2 Panzer units. Fuel ignites. Ammunition cooks off. Autocannons fall silent mid-burst. The third asset dives into an electronic warfare vehicle. The blast blooms bright white on thermal feeds. Jamming dies with it. Inside the bunker, alarms finally change tone. Not volume. Tone. That difference matters. Operators freeze for half a second too long. The convoy commander shouts for status updates that never arrive. Without the relay, batteries operate blind, isolated, local. Coordination fractures. Then secondary explosions ripple through the convoy. A missile transport ruptures. Its warhead detonates sympathetically. The shockwave flips vehicles and snaps suspension arms. Fire races along spilled fuel. Confidence evaporates in real time. Voices rise. Orders overlap. The neat geometry of defense dissolves into reaction. Missiles remain. Guns still work. But the system has lost its brain. Ukrainian sensors record it all. Thermal bloom. Infrared collapse. Radio silence expanding like a stain. The first strike was not meant to destroy the convoy. It was meant to make the convoy vulnerable. And now, everyone knows what comes next. The convoy commander orders immediate dispersal. Vehicles lurch off the road, grinding into rough terrain. Spacing collapses. Formation discipline breaks under urgency. Heavy systems are summoned forward. S-400 launchers rotate south. Reserve Panzer units sprint into firing positions, engines roaring, dust plumes marking every movement. This reaction creates a problem. High-value assets expose themselves. Radar emissions spike. Thermal signatures flare bright and wide. What was hidden becomes obvious. Ukrainian operators register the change instantly. Target priority tables reshuffle in milliseconds. New coordinates propagate across the network. A single window opens. For minutes. That is all. During this window, the convoy's defensive umbrella is stretched, overlapping coverage fractured by movement. Reload crews are exhausted. Interceptor stocks are uneven. A decision is made without debate. Commit everything left. Launch platforms elevate simultaneously across multiple regions. Some missiles fly high, demanding attention. Others stay low, silent, ignored. Russian commanders try to rebuild structure. They issue fire discipline orders. They attempt to conserve interceptors. It comes too late. The system no longer responds as one. The air fills with contrails and debris. Radar screens stutter. Tracks blink in and out. Every second that passes favors the attacker. The convoy is no longer relocating. It is fleeing. And flight is not a defense. The saturation wave arrives like weather. Over 50 airborne threats converge simultaneously. Drones, loitering munitions, and cruise missiles coordinate through decentralized logic. No single node controls them. If one disappears, the rest adapt. Defensive systems hit their limits. Launch rails empty faster than they can reload. Fire control radars overheat, forced to track too many fast-changing targets. Operators manually override automation, slowing reactions further. Missiles miss because they are rushed. Guns jam because barrels overheat. One Panzer fires until its last interceptor leaves the rail. Seconds later, a loitering munition drops directly onto its turret. Another system turns, engages, then dies under impact from behind. Chain reactions cascade. Fuel trucks burn. Missile containers detonate. Each explosion removes another layer of defense. The convoy becomes a line of fire stretching kilometers. In the bunker, screens fail one by one. The air smells of ozone and panic. Commanders issue evacuation orders they never planned to give. Ukrainian feeds show total collapse. No organized fire. No coordinated radar. Only scattered, desperate launches. Physics has won. The defenders did not fail from lack of courage or equipment. They failed because the system was asked to do more than it was built to do. When the last missile strikes, it does not feel dramatic. It feels inevitable. Silence follows. By sunrise, the convoy no longer exists as a fighting asset. 12 launch vehicles destroyed or abandoned. Dozens of interceptors expended. Supporting systems erased. The cost exchange is stark. Hundreds of millions lost to systems costing a fraction of that. More damaging than the hardware is the lesson. Doctrine has been exposed. Layered defense without infinite reloads is a finite shield. Predictable movement under surveillance is no longer safe. For Ukraine, the implication is leverage. Strike economics now favor persistence over mass. Pressure can be applied continuously, forcing defenders to spend more than they can replace. For Russian planners, reality shifts. Convoys must hide, split, delay. That slows operations. That creates gaps elsewhere. No victory parade follows. No celebration. Just recalculation. War does not pause after moments like this. It adapts. Defenders will harden systems. Attackers will refine traps. The cycle accelerates. The Black Sea region feels quieter afterward, but it is a dangerous quiet. A quiet filled with lessons learned and assumptions shattered. One question now hangs over every future movement, every launch order, every convoy route.